Are these newfangled things any good?
Mist passes over the lands of Warmont, the realm of the Blood Throne, as tensions rise between the mortals of the land and the Dracul bloodline, their vampire overlords. Immortal Realms Vampire Wars is a strategy game focusing on tabletop-like empire management interspersed with turn-based combat scenarios. Throughout the 3 distinct campaigns, each spanning 4 very long story missions, players muster an army of recruited troops, from vampire archers to wild feral wolves, to claim, or in some cases reclaim, the land for their armies. Be warned, your vampire army needs blood. Feed on the villagers of the realm to maintain and heal your troops. Blood must also be used to play cards on your turn. These cards have varying effects, ranging from strengthening your troops to increasing the population of the realm's villages, making feeding on their blood much more lucrative. When you aren't racing back and forward across the board playing cards and preventing your troops from dying of thirst, you're engaging in turn-based combat, reminiscent of most Fire Emblem titles. Command each troop like a chess piece and defeat your opponents in battle. This mode of play also requires yet more management of resources, as you must stay on top of the health of your armies and your mana, which is used to cast special cards only playable in the combat modes. The game also features an all-important, and I do mean all-important, tutorial. I tried to dive straight into playing the first mission of the Dracul campaign and found myself completely bewildered. I would have really liked to see the tutorial be essential playing before going into the story, but I assumed that if you're a gamer who plays a lot of turn-based combat games, you'd probably be sick of playing through forced tutorials. There is a massive amount of information given to you in this short tutorial, however, and experience is the best teacher, which is where the Sandbox and Skirmish modes come in. These essentially act as practice simulations for each state of play, giving players the ability to create their own scenarios and combinations of armies. It is a neat feature which can be really helpful for practicing that one pesky combat scenario that's been blocking your path to victory. Unfortunately, Vampire Wars doesn't make winning easy. Even the early combat scenarios are quite difficult, and I found myself constantly going back and forward across the open world, wasting countless turns just to get the right card that would allow me to recruit more troops, or to store enough blood to buy armor from one of the blacksmiths to help me get that edge on the CPU mortal enemy. The controls are fairly intuitive though, being able to switch between menus for playing cards, moving troops across boards, and flicking through the keyword encyclopedia to look up what that troop status means for your army, all with ease via the D-pad and the ABXY buttons. The analog sticks do make hard work of moving your troops to the right tiles in the combat, and although there is the ability to zoom in on the board, I definitely didn't like doing so. This game really struggles in the visual department. The wide and detailed landscapes are what take up a lot of the processing power for the Switch, and the troops can often look the same and are hard to distinguish between without looking at them to see what they're called. I wouldn't normally complain about the visuals, but given that it often takes nearly a minute to load between the combat and the overworld, or the title screen and gameplay, I would have really hoped for some better visuals. If you like turn-based combat and empire management games, then Vampire Wars is very much for you. And there really is a lot of content to play through. But I assume the target audience must have been immortal vampires with the patience to wait through immense loading times.